Hello, everyone. Happy Venus Friday. So much love to all of you. And thank you so much for joining us on this Friday Tea Time Ascension Talk. Hi, Caitlin.
Good morning.
So much love to you. Thank you so much for being here. So I have my cup today. Michael is cupless today.
I'm a lot of less today.
Michael is a non-functioning being today.
I'm here to wish you all well as my eyes are barely open with very little sleep, just to welcome you. Thank you. Wish you a very, very happy 8/8 gateway and know that...
That's another week, sweetie. We
know.
still have like a week, 8 days till we get there.
We're in the portal right now, so I'm wishing all because we're not going to be on next week. And I'm just honoring this time for my own health and well-being since I can barely see right now.
Talk at least a little bit, just a couple minutes before you take off. So I told Michael's like, honey, he got up, he barely could even open his eyes. He's like, honey, I just can't be on. I said, I haven't slept in 5 days. Look.
That's normal for you.
Adjusting to, and it does take a while, but it's been blasting like crazy. Of course, we're inside the gateway till the peak of it on 8/8. And Michael, hi Valerie. Michael just hurting today.
I just didn't sleep.
He didn't sleep at all. He doesn't.
I just toss and turn, and I just know that for my own well-being, I need to recoup because I have clients tomorrow, and my self-love is calling for me to just rest and be. It's been a little exhausting this week, so it is. It's been a full ride these past couple of days.
Yeah, and I told Mike, I said, just come up for a few minutes and then go rest. Hi, Lisa. Hi, sweetie. And it's so interesting because like today, I mean, this is totally Michael non-functioning. And I feel it's so important that we also show this part of ourselves. I haven't slept, but I'm functional. Michael hasn't slept, but he's non-functional today. And it's so important to recognize it's nothing to do that you have lost your spiritual path, you don't know where you are, something is wrong. It's none of that. The blasting frequencies within this gateway is so high. The template is becoming more of its crystalline nature. So the carbon is totally transforming, and there's nothing you can do other than to rest. I mean, you just have to put everything on the side and lay down and barely functioning and drink a lot of water.
And there's also, everyone has different systems. And
sure.
In all honesty, you're used to not sleeping.
I am used to not sleeping since 2012.
Well, I mean...
really, Michael.
If you look at it, your mom, like the sleep patterns in your family, like you guys don't really sleep.
No.
And so
we function every couple of hours. So we actually function, but there are every now and then that I say, Michael, when I say I'm non-functional, that means it's like a bloody mess.
You learn to live your life on very little sleep.
Yes.
For me, I'm functional because sleeping is something that brings restoration to me, and so that's a very valuable part. And you've done a wonderful job of getting little sleep and still moving forward. And for me, my sleep is very precious to me because that's a time for rest. And
let's just see how many of you haven't slept. Angela, you haven't slept. Caitlin, have you slept? Lisa, have you slept? Just out of curiosity. Valerie, you said you haven't. You're drinking peppermint tea.
It's been a little while. It's always nice to hear from you.
Okay, feeling the embrace of you and hugging. So much love to you. Caitlin, it's nice to see you here. Lisa says she wants to give you Reiki. Lisa, we don't need any sessions or anything like that. It's just the body needs to integrate on the horizontal plane, which I'll talk about that. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. I'm going to be...
Oh, that's good. You slept. That's good.
I'm going to be lying down shortly just to honor my head and my body and everything else.
Yeah, and that lethargic feeling is because you're grounding again. I'm going to speak quite a bit about like what happens in our template and as we are inside this gateway and how to just embrace it and not fight with it and do what you got to do and sort of make your schedule a little bit lighter. So you go rest, darling, because you can hang around, lay on the couch, hear it, or go over there. If you want, go join us. on our Friday tea time on that end.
Well, thank you all for joining today. Wishing you well. Valerie, no worries always when you catch us when you're here. It's always a journey when it comes during these fun days in the portal. So you just have to honor that.
Do you want to have a tea over there and join us on that end? Oh my God.
Lie down.
Go lay down.
It's just
Yeah,
fun.
go lay down.
Yeah.
But look, we still have the grid from the Magdalene frequency right underneath where I'm sitting, literally. So it's like blasting this way as well as it's blasting the other way. So if you're entering this space, there's a lot of blasting happening. Yeah. Okay, so go enjoy.
Have a beautiful weekend. Happy portal gateway, happy open gateway, happy every gateway in the sense, and enjoy the rest. I will be here in spirit. If you guys will see, the spirit will be right next to Honey in her support.
Do you want at the end you do the angel message for today?
Sure.
What day are we in?
213.
All right, it's a good day.
Thank you guys. Much love, many blessings.
Love you. So let's have Michael go relax. Let me be sitting now. It's beautiful because my universe would be on top of the portal as I'm talking to you. Isn't that amazing?
Where did your universe come from?
My universe is literally under the diamond portal. Would you like to see what I'm speaking of? Let me show this to you just so that you can see. Okay, so look, this is the center part of the Magdalene ceremony grid, that the crystal grid that was activated. Everything else has been removed. And I'm still having this here. So as I'm sitting, I get to be literally have my sacred goddess Yoni inside the gateway. That's the best. That's my kind of, vibration. So hi, Sandra. Nice to see you. Hi, love. So beautiful. So thank you so much for joining and being here. I feel it's so important to have these conversations, these connections. And I want to give a little shout out to Sandra. It was so beautiful that Michael and I got a chance to be live on the Sology studio that had produced the show with the question and answer, how to anchor the frequency of fifth dimensional frequency here, and the other questions that individuals had. And we got to be with Lavelle as well as Sister Lady Nadine. It was so beautiful, just that collaboration we have and everything we shared. So that, for those of you that missed it, please go ahead and watch it because it was a good hour and a half. And we really spoke about what is going on in this now and how to anchor some of these frequencies, and of course, other conversations that came out of it. So Sandra, so much gratitude to you again, and she's invited us to be co-hosts with her again, and we'll do that soon. So much love. There's so much taking place. Caitlin says big transformation taking right now with coming out with a lot of stuff to my family with my truth. Oh, wow, Caitlin, good on you. That's fabulous. Good. Isn't that the space right now that so many of us are just coming out? We're completely coming out with all kinds of deeper hidden truth within us, with the voice of our Magdalene that is giving us the power to communicate. And really is that compassion part of our heart. And I feel there's that shift between the empathy and sympathy as light workers that we feel that has kept us in this empowered space, and a lot of victimization to a true empowered place from the power of our compassion speaking. And that gives us the ability to communicate very clearly and really anchored deep within it. Let me just turn the AC down. It's a little bit chilly here. So I wanted to share that with you because so this past weekend we got to go to the beach and be with my sons and Michael's mother, and to celebrate Michael's father's 2-year anniversary crossing over. And it was so beautiful that, again, for the second year in a row, we got to spread his ashes. Last year was in the high mountains in North Carolina, the highest peak. And this year it was in the beach spreading his ashes. And I really love that my children recognize how special this is and how his ashes wants to be spread, and in the celebration of his light and the communication. And earlier in the day that morning, I got to see him just radiant and smiling and very joyful. And he kept pointing to Michael and his mom, saying like, you all got to be this happy, like this happy. And that is that energy of joy, because the energy of joy has a very high level of transmuting frequency, and this directly tied to our ascension flames. So, when we are able to be in our natural joy radiance, none of these debris that are sitting around our field or that are outside in our field can actually impact us, because that natural joy, the divine joy from the quality of divine that is radiating from inside out, just transmutes and transmutes and transmutes. So, and I feel that's the other thing that so many of us that are feeling that sort of like dissonance towards the mask, and not because we're not compassionate, we're actually quite compassionate for people, but there's this consciousness that we can see through wearing this mask is a violation to this, because we cover that radiance of our smile, the radiance in our eyes, and there is this vibration that wants to be expressed as, and it is still going to be expressed at, yet it cannot fully be expressed when we are not able to smile at each other, greet each other in the presence of the divine joy. Or, for example, there's this consciousness of separation, social distancing, which doesn't give us the opportunity to really be in the physical touch. And I mean, this is even like basic science that shows us the value of a physical touch and the nurturing, because the entire skin has been created from inside the heart. So the whole skin is heart. And that's why when we hug each other, we heart each other. And the feeling of hug is so important. So I made a post yesterday, and there were these lions that were just laying on the ground and hugging, cuddling each other. I said, it is so time for that, to just come in the street, just hug each other, mask-free, social distance-free, to demonstrate and break the chain of fear, which is in the conscious minds, that if we touch each other, we're going to get hurt. Or if we come together, we breathe into each other, we are going to be dangerous to one another. And I feel a lot of this has to do with the connection with the divine. Some of us that feel that strong connection to the divine, and we recognize that in that place, there is no illness for us because it doesn't exist. So to me, what's the difference when a physician, a doctor works at this very, very, let's say, toxic areas, goes and does his job, doesn't catch the illness or anything like that? Is because somewhere in him, he's decided, I'm going to do my job and I'm not going to be affected. And there's that higher connection that gives that power. So, of course, religion attempts that. And even individuals that do have that connection, they feel they're not going to be touched by this. This reminds me of a family member who's a very, very devoted, hardcore Christian lover, let's say. I mean, very, very hardcore. And she had posted a post about message so-called on behalf of, if you believe in Jesus, the Christ, Corona will not touch you. And it was a very interesting message that it had written. And I could see what was underneath it, which I completely resonated with. But from the angle of the religion, of that Jesus is the savior. If you believe in Jesus, you're not going to be touched. So I feel those of us on this call, we recognize what it's saying, but we're at a different consciousness that we recognize that Christus light that we connect to, the crystalline light within is powered by the power of the love of divine. So we will not be touched. And that's exactly what Yeshua had said to me with activation of the crystalline diamond light body several years ago. He said, when you become the diamond body, the diamond template, you are untouchable. It cannot, nothing can penetrate. And because of the power of the love, and the power of the love, as we know, is the highest above all. This is the only one that the lower dimensional frequencies or the dark or cabal or entities, whatever you want to call it, they can't touch this. Everything else that matches that, they have the upper hand. It's just the love that consumes it and literally hover over it, the way beloved Yeshua, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene had shown me, and it dissolves it, which I feel is also part of the big communication that I had in my dream few nights ago, where I was in I was sitting on a treatment bed, and there was I was getting ready to be vaccinated by the new vaccine for COVID, but I was sent on behalf of the Galactic Federation of Light to dismantle this by the power of the energy, to dismantle the chip, which was very interesting. So as I was sitting here in my dream, I had volunteered to go on behalf of humanity to experience it so that I can communicate how to dissolve it. And that's been sitting in my consciousness. So what happens if we face forced vaccination? That's been one of my biggest concerns that I've had to face, for me, for my children, for my parents, and also to see what power of divine power do we naturally have inside of us that we can literally utilize within this consciousness. If the consciousness of love and the crystalline diamond light body carries that much frequency of the divine love, is it possible to dismantle that level of technology? So aren't we our technology? Can't we utilize our higher technology within this? And I felt that that's what my dream was, for me to recognize, even with this, where is the power that I can choose to utilize, to give attention to, and access the higher dimensional aspect of myself and the fullness of my mighty I am presence, to bring it in. Because if it is able to get rid of illness, it's all impurity. So this is also another like grain of dust of impurity that it can dismantle as well. So anyway, so that was a bit on my consciousness sitting in there. Let me just bring this a little bit forward, and I have to keep an eye in here with the plug, because the battery is getting ready to go. I might as well plug it. Just one moment, please. Okay. So, dear hearts, it's very interesting to have a Friday tea time without Michael here. I feel like my side partner is I don't know, it feels strange to have the dialogue, but love to hear from you. So how are you all doing? Let's ask Lisa. So our beloved Lisa just closed her center last week, and her amazing Rise Wellbeing Center, who we have had the honor and pleasure to collaborate with on a couple of really powerful events. It was very interesting to embrace the New Year's Eve of 2020 there with the higher visions, and then also New Year's Day of 2020 this year. So getting people prepared, and of course the days of transformational healings that Michael had facilitated. So forever remains with so much love in our hearts, our beloved Lisa. We're just so grateful to have collaborated with Rise, and the energy of Rise, the consciousness of Rise as has been a platform so other individuals also rise when they come into its frequency field. And to witness yourself rising and going to the next chapter. And both Michael and I walked those shoes where we have closed our center. We know exactly what takes place in that emotional, mental, physical, spiritual plane, and also the other doors that open up as we shut one door and embrace another one. So I would love to hear how you're doing. How are you? And you took part also in our Magdalene ceremony, which was this last week, Wednesday. So spectacular. And love to hear from you. Also, Valerie, let us know how you're doing. You mentioned you've been very exhausted and very tired. I feel the tiredness is on one plane, of course, is the light streams, this light stream that is pouring in. I've spoken about this quite a bit. It is pouring into the grids of Earth, the different grid systems, and also through the stratosphere on Earth with its grid. And the grid of light is pulling together. And as it is coming into our different bodies, it's trickling down through the 144 dimensions. It is firing up this starlight inside of us. So that which has been unconscious becomes conscious. So that's what during these gateway openings, especially this is a major one from the Sirius gateway that open up on Saturday the 26th, and it ends August 12th, and the peak of it is 8/8. So within this window, we have so much happening. And already there's a lot happening on the earth plane, but those of us starseeds, bringers of light, are asked to anchor these. So those of you who are activating your crystalline diamond light body, you're able to anchor this easier because your template, and especially those of us who longer been in the crystalline diamond light body, such as myself, we're able to hone this in much easier. Some of the newer ones, they do need to sleep quite a bit to adjust to the frequencies, because there's a rewiring of the DNA, and this rewiring has to rest so that the new body of knowledge, through the rewiring of the codes and the codex of the crystal slide, can become accessible. And it is important to stay in the heart. And one of the things that does often happen within this period, individuals unfortunately do get in their head, because it seems like they're not feeling good, they're lethargic, and then they go that other direction. Something is wrong, maybe I haven't delivered this, or a lot of insecurities comes up, which you got to be really mindful and heartful, because those energies then have the opportunity to be tied into dark or heavier, denser vibrations that wants to pull on that. So you got to be just very, very heartful and mindful in this space, guarded, be in very positive vibrational fields. And if you don't feel like, especially social media, be very, very careful what you're giving your attention to. Maybe perhaps don't go on the news feed, don't scroll down on people's pages, just be more protective. Or if you see messages come, just sort of let it be. And and be more in nature, be more in water, be more around tree, around flowers, light incense and candles and soft sounds, maybe baby animals and babies. This is a much better vibration for the integration, so that you don't get pulled into other areas, because there's so many other energies. So don't be surprised also within this period from the 26th until August 12th, we hear worst of the worst of the worst news. It's designed, and especially peak of it at 8/8, it's going to be like blasting of wanting to create the worst of the worst news, because they also know there's this blast coming in. So they're also waiting for us so that we can crumble with this place while it's our integration time. And if you don't know, you don't know how to navigate it. But if you know, you'll know how to navigate it better and not give your power away. So it's a little bit of my 2 cents around this. And of course, I'll get much more deeper into the peak of the Lionsgate on Saturday. Hi, Dimitri. So much love. So much love. So let's see what you are sharing. And so, okay. So here we have, love your photo from the beach. So glad you boys were with you. Yes, Valerie, it was very, very healing. And my younger son has a girlfriend now who would be so mad that I said this publicly. So we got to experience being with her, and we got to really experience being with massive amount of dolphins in our morning prayer. My goodness, like at 5:45 a.m., that Atlantis energy was so amazing. And what I love, Valerie, is just to cook. When they come, I am in charge mom in the kitchen. Me and Michael's mom do really well, and we have like a full feast, and we get to then sit and talk. And my kids are very engaged with Michael's mom, and you name it, the discussions are discussed. And I love this 2.5 hour of just breakfast, eating and talking and sharing, and everything from the virus to the college to drugs to alcohol, sex, everything is communicated in this space that I have so much value for. So thank you so much. Let's have a hugging party. Lisa, I'm telling you, I'm so in for a beautiful hug party. It is so nice. I totally see to go in front of the White House and invite a whole bunch of people. Let's just all hug each other. Although Washington, D.C. announced that they will now charge $1,000 fine for those who are not wearing masks walking. It's so interesting. So Lisa says, I'm good. Periods of tiredness and grief, but mostly just grateful. Amazing miracles happen to get me out. Exactly, Lisa, for sure. You're so protected and loved and blessed. Yes, it's been an honor for us as well. Valerie, emotions are very close to the surface. Tears flow very easily now. Lots of reasons. Oh, good. God's grace allows us to wash these away. Thank you. That's great. I've also pulled back on Facebook quite a bit, nurturing myself in nature and science. Yes, very, very necessary. You have to know how to navigate that, pull back in, go back in, cool, do this. So that navigation is very important. And to know you're not going to miss anything. So Sandra, check out recipe for golden light water that helps take in the beautiful light. Yes, that's very powerful. So, and Sandra, if you like to maybe submit that link, that would be great. For our Magdalene feast, one of the things that we did with the water we drink, we infused it with the golden light, with the golden liquid light and the Magdalene rose. And I have created the, let me show you. Actually, I was going to post this. So from the Magdalene feast, this is still the roses and the purified water was here. And this been sitting in my refrigerator since last week. So what I do, I have them for weeks sitting here and let it be fully blessed and infused with everything that took place from the Magdalene feast. And then I put it in a big jar. And that jar is then used to put it in my water as water essence, and also put it in my heart, put it in my crown, put it in my hands, and just constantly bring the frequency back and tune in to the golden liquid light, and particularly the Magdalene frequency. You can easily also do this yourself. This happens to be a heart shape. Look, all this water, Magdalene fell. Bless you all with it too. So you can also easily do that at home, although it's not part of the Magdalene feast, but you can still utilize it that way. So let's see what else. Hi, Demetrius. Thank you. Thank you so much. Caitlin says, I don't know what is happening, but since the Lions Gate began, random men while being out have been hitting on a lot like crazy, like never before. I don't know what's happening. You mean hitting on you, flirting with you? Is that what you're referring? I don't know if there is a correlation, but that has never happened before. Well, beautiful. And also perhaps you have released some of some of those things that you experience. Now you're actually welcoming and opening, and the more true essence of yours comes, it is a magnetic field of the heart that attracts more of that, because you've carrying a liberation field into it. So the 88th super gateway, Lionsgate, is almost upon us. I know, it's so amazing. Hi, Chuck. Chuck, nice to see you. Michael is resting in there. He's non-functional from the frequencies that have been blasting. He can't even function. So I said, rest will be a solidified tea time. By the way, I'm drinking just ginger and lemon, fresh ginger and lemon, because that's what my body's calling for. Nice to see you. I'm getting closer to knowing the name of the wind and learning how to place telepathic message onto the cloud. Beautiful. That's one of our gifts that we have been able to utilize for a while. So wonderful to be able to communicate with the spirit of the wind. Spirit of the wind carries in so many different parts of the world, and you can carry the messages, and it's beautiful. Nature is the best for sure. Yes, hitting on you. So Caitlin's beautiful, and embrace that, and also recognize what energy is coming. Is it is coming to you? Is it lifting you? Is it making you uncomfortable? There's that sexual attraction is very interesting, and especially we are moving from the conscious, from the unconscious sexual energy to the higher conscious energy, which reaches the divine. So there's a lot that plays in that. And I feel, actually, I was sitting with this morning, because it is an area that Michael and I really want to assist couples who are in a union with the wisdom that we have been sitting with and gathered. We've helped some couples before, but really to communicate deeper within the actual sexual energy and its sacredness and our temples, and how to utilize the divine within this space, because for us it's of service. It's not just the satisfaction in any way. So Sandra says, yes, put a container of water on your push directly in the sun and let it sit for however you desire. I place mine intention on paper underneath it, exactly, and place a selenite crystal on top. It's wonderful to infuse it with water, absolutely. We have one of the things, we use a lot of crystals and write the intentions on them, so the water is completely blessed and carries the frequency. Nice to see you, Chuck, too. And just nice, Sandra. She does that. Great. Drinking usual lemon tea with honey, ginger. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So everybody is that. So Chuck, are you getting hit? You said same here, Caitlin. Are you getting hit left and right with the woman? Is that what you're referring to? I think their spirit sees my golden glow. Yeah, it's beautiful. So in general, when you tune into your crystal's light, when you're really coming home to you, you're returning back to the home, to your inner sound, you're able to really tune into the electromagnetic field. And that expands both in the horizontal and vertical axis. So your auric field glows so powerfully, and there is an attraction towards it, both attraction of the light and attraction of the dark, because it's naturally drawn into it, and because it too wants to expand in its light. But sometimes it comes in to plug right into your field, so you're going to pay attention to that. And sometimes it just ignites by that presence. So just take care of your fields. It's your light body, so you're the one in charge on that. I love having you all on. By the way, I have a question. So how many of you got to read my post that I wrote yesterday regarding individuals who are so caring and passionate about masks, that I had never seen any of the ones that are very advocate about the mask and the of our family and loved ones ever post anything about the sex trafficking of the children. And it's like complete split, no discussion. So I really felt, I said, okay, let's see what's going on here. How do I want to really address this? I am compassionate about individuals who care about their families, their elder ones, their concern. Of course, I get that. I just have a different approach with it. Like with my mother and my Papa Ted, they are older, but my role with them is constantly remind them of the power, remind them of the power of divine, and the connection of divine protects them from all. So and to not watch the news, not to give the power away to that. Be careful, naturally wash their hands and all that, but be careful with their energy, and they really do pay attention to that. Michael's mom is slightly different. Sometimes she does get caught with the news, so we also remind her and bring her. But the child trafficking, the mass trafficking, and the exposure that's finally out, it's like almost completely denied. So I just felt, from just that inspired moment I had, I said, okay, how can we bridge this? Because finally, all of us have one agreement regarding Epstein's girlfriend that has been arrested. So we know this had a lot to do with the sex trafficking. Doesn't matter what side individuals fall in their political beliefs. So there's one thing we have in common. And there's one thing we have in common. We do care about children. We do care about the safety of our elders. We do care. So how can we bridge this gap? And so I wrote a long post about it, really from my heart, and it's been very beautiful to read the individuals' comments on there, and very heart space, because I really don't want to lose any more friendships over this, because I do find there is a gift that resides here. Can we listen to each other's hearts with this? Do we have the power? And I feel if we just step aside a little bit from our attachment to our belief system, then there's somewhere to go. But that severe attachment to want to protect our belief system or defend our belief system, it doesn't let us, and especially because right now so much is politicized and we are going into the election. There's just so much heated energy. So it's hard to navigate that. It's hard to get people's hearts together. So I really spoke about that yesterday, and it's been beautiful to witness that, and and to see so many after that, where I saw the individuals that I saw would never post anything about sex trafficking of the children. I suddenly saw like such a huge turnaround of all these ones suddenly posting. I said, wow, thank you. Thank you so much. It's how can we balance this? Like I'm willing to come more this way. If you're all willing to come together somewhere in the middle, let's meet. Yes, this is important to you. This is important. Let's bring it together. Not deny one part, or just because flat out, we don't like what somebody says, or throw it out in the, just throw it completely out. And I want to share something with you because, for example, I'm a humanitarian. Like for me, humanity is important and a service to humanity. And so, also somebody who went against a lot of the Middle Eastern tradition of being this indigo crystalline energy of not following the tradition of breaking the rules, marrying outside culture, marrying outside religion, and just continuously going against it, and being sort of that rebellion, and being able to stand up and not follow what everybody else done. This has been years in my life. So to me, what difference is it when 20 years ago, when I first learned about the child trafficking? So it's kind of interesting when, through the birth of my son, when the week he was born, he was very, very ill. And I was very confused what had happened. So that's a whole nother story, which I'll talk about another day. But what happened was I had to stand up in the medical establishment and really fight my lioness coming out, fight the systems and the doctors, what they wanted to do to him, because he was this rare case. So of course they wanted to experiment with him. And that week we did so much of the tests between MRI, CAT scan, and all these different doctors giving different diagnoses that he will never live, or he'll die early, or there's tumor in his head, or this, they need to do surgery. And my baby was just this big. And so, and that was the week, because I'd shut the door to God since my dad died. And it was like in a period of 8 years, I just shut the door. I was very mad at God. And when this happened that week, I screamed that the doctors took my baby. I refused any of their suggestions. And I turned to God and I said, you did this, and I know you have a purpose. You need to show me why. Show me the way. And that door opened. And from there, what happened was, from there, I started just research began. Just research this rare case with my son. I started discovering about poisons in the product line, and what happens when these chemicals are in the product line and we're putting them on our skin, how they created endocrine disruption within the mother, and then that passes on through the umbilical cord and creates the endocrine disruption within the child. So then I went a step further. I learned about where these chemicals come from, who the companies. So I learned about, for example, many of these companies that create parabens and, the toxins. I first learned so much about the ingredients. Then I learned about what companies they were. Then I learned about what they were tied into. Like, for example, Shell and Exxon. These are major oil companies. What business did they have in creating this? So I dig deeper, and nothing like a mother where her child has been touched, that starts the research. So from there, I learned how it tied into creating also the cancer as a business. And from there, also the creating the chemotherapy and radiation as the solution. So I saw this ginormous business in having individuals become sick and then creating the solution where people had no idea. And then I started discovering even more dirt under this, and I was so angry. I was so like distraught what I discovered, because from there then I learned how it ties into government. Then there's a whole lot behind here. Then it ties to vaccines. Then it ties into political things, and then it ties into these other families that are part of certain rings and satanic rituals. Then from there, I discovered the child trafficking, how children are used for what I discovered 20 years ago was so heart-wrenching, and I was so just disheartened and shocked, and I had so much anger, and that anger I wanted to destroy. I had so much anger in me, especially with my child, and I had turned into prayer. And I took the power of prayer, and I took all my energy and transformed everything in my home first. And then from there, I was sitting with so much knowledge, and I felt my voice needed to speak. But the depth of the dark that I discovered, especially about the child trafficking, the satanic rituals, and ties into politicians, ties into certain rings, ties into certain countries, ties into Vatican, and also the royal family, ties into celebrities and all of this. I mean, it was so massive. It made me so sad and depressed, and I felt helpless. Yet that fire in me wanted to do something about it. And so as a result, I decided to create a center. The create a center, on the outside of it, use like the holistic center with the products to educate people what you put on your body, how it affects your health. And on the inside was how it affects the connection to spirit. So I could, through certain people, could bring my voice out. And from there, I became a public speaker like 15 years ago. And yet it was a very lonely journey. And imagine 20 years ago, I want to talk about the sex trafficking of the children. Like, that's when I was so outcast. Like, I mean, I've been outcast and outcast and outcast. And here, there's massive amount of people are speaking, and they're still outcast. When you bring it up, it's tossed away because you would consider, conspiracist or what have you, or you are supporting a certain agenda, yet everything else is tossed out. And so I brought the point yesterday, if we care so much about the wellness of our family and the elderly, okay, so many of my friends that are so about support of masks because they're elderly are so scared to go out if somebody's not wearing masks. So in order for them to feel safe, if you put a mask, you're going to make them feel comfortable. And so it's like, it's just a nice thing to do. Yet also, we're, as a divine sovereign being, we're in a place to recognize what is our truth in this. Is that really a compassion? Is that an act of compassion? Is that compliance? What are we consenting to? Where is our vibration field? And where is the limit for us, literally? And so I feel like I have a bigger stomach regarding the child trafficking, and because I was exposed to it so many years ago, but there wasn't a space in which I could really communicate it because it was so short. And it really reminded me as a child who was sexually molested and abused, and that's past me. But again, not talking about it, keeping it close, keeping it, make sure nobody knows, but yet family knows, yet they still try to protect the abuser versus the child. So to me, it's like, how long do we want to play this dirty game? How long do we want to keep these hidden? Because we want to keep people comfortable, because we don't want to address the shame and the embarrassments or the heavier energies. And And so there's a lot more deeper in this. So that's why yesterday I wanted to share the post, and you're welcome to comment on it. Yet I had to remove one post that wanted to really come from this other energy that's not quite appropriate for it, to just have the discussion, because I feel there's a gift that resides in here. So we can come together and not give our power so much to the politics and and step aside, because if you can be in the middle, not this way for the lefties, not that way for the righties, and just somewhere in the middle to hear both. And I feel my mom and dad have really forced me to come, because I would never want to have anything at all to hear anything about the word Trump at all. And I said, let me also look into this. How am I part of a solution if I'm so like, absolutely not? Let me see what they want to say. So let me hear what QAnon wants to say. Let me hear what Anonymous wants to say. And let me hear both what they want to say. And where is their concern coming from? And to discover they're all really saying the same thing. It's just from the different way it's coming. It's very much like, the Christians and the Muslims and Jews are saying the same thing, yet the way they're coming about it is so fragmented. So the essence of it is lost along the way. I said, how can I just stand really in this place, not neutrality, still voice my Magdalene voice, yet be able to see the greater picture, and choose to communicate from that place. And is there a way that we can come together? And I feel that way is the heart. If we can really come with the heart and hear each other and choose, and choose to being our discernment and navigate it through. So there is an elegant way that is possible, but only if you can really heart it and communicate it. And I feel that as so much of the debris has come up, finally, women's rights have been so exposed with the sexual energy and the sexual abuse, and then the animal abuse has been so exposed. For example, finally Black Lives Matters is out, whether it's agenda based, doesn't matter. Finally, all of these are out. So the child trafficking is finally also out. It's giving the opportunity. Well, I don't know why it's saying that. We are part of the change. We are part of the experience of, sorry, the connection got lost for a minute. We are part of that change to bring the higher consciousness by the power of our love. Will be able to fully deliver it? I don't know. I truly trust and wish that we can, but it does have to be the power of our divine to be able to heart things and stand up in our truth and communicate it very clearly. And the reason why I brought this up this way is because right now, even when we're speaking about this, we're still sort of tossed out, because it's going to be then sort of like coin with, we are questioning this and want to know, no, I do not want these chips in my body. I don't want my voice to be blocked, because I'm here to speak the truth and I can see through this. I cannot consent to the satanic rituals that flat out are being played out. And no, I cannot consent, the wrathfulness against the children that ties into these rings and rings and rings. So there's this Operation Children Railroad, the Operation Railroad that is taking part of it. Individuals can volunteer, but there's this part they want to talk about, well, we're not going to accept the over sensationalization of Pizzagate and all of this. To me, it's so interesting, because okay, as long as you are scared of the word conspiracy, that means you're also tossing it out. You're not even giving any opportunity for you to look into yourself as an independent, cognitive, truly divine thinker with your divine mind, divine heart, mind things, so that you can decide and decipher through the power of your own discernment, what is in resonance, what is in dissonance, which I talked about in my video yesterday. So let me back up a little bit. Let's see. You guys made a lot of comments. What you have shared. So Demetrius says, I never wear a mask. No need to. I have my natural vaccine. But is London making you wear masks when you go to stores? Can you tell me about that? Fear stops most manifestation. Absolutely. Fear does stop it completely and brings more of it. Chuck says the universe is raising individuals to confront these entities that hide the truth and profit for their own glory and glory. Absolutely. Angela says yes. Caitlin says, I don't want to lose any more friendship anymore either with the people who have attacked me about vaccine, stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. That attack is something else. Yes, drinking plenty of water. Lisa says, I was nervous to post. I was nervous to Facebook message a spiritual sister about how dare you articulate. She posted about mask wearing. It turned out beautifully. What is that? I was nervous to Facebook message a spiritual sister about the how dare you article she posted about mask wearing. It turned out beautiful. Okay. Chuck says, I have noticed that a lot of people are starting to open up. Absolutely, Chuck. I think they are having psychic or spiritual experiences that I have been relating to them over the last absolutely collective mass awakening. New energy for sure. The veil is dropping. The veil has dropped. It's just finally the masses being able to experience it. Rachel says, hi, Rachel. Nice to see you. Yes, I'm going through this endocrine disruption and did the same digging. It's shocking, heartbreaking. Yeah, totally, completely, Rachel. We are being given back that which was lost or taken from us. I feel it was, but it was also part of our soul agreement. Again, I do want to move us out of this this sort of like victim stage that it was taken from us. We also, as a soul agreement, agreed to it for our DNA to be back into just two strands, because we had also abused the power. So we've had to relearn the way, and that in itself is a celebration. Valerie says, so you saw what was going on years ago with the travel? Yeah, Valerie, I saw this way in advance, and I've been, again, outcast, spoken like I'm just a crazy woman, and my kids still roll their eyes, yet they come around. We have these deep discussions, and they want me to always tone it down. I've always had friends, tone it down, honey, tone it down. You make people uncomfortable, tone it down. I mean, this is forever. Even some best friends I've had lost friendships because they want, in order for their audience to feel safe, honey, you should tone it down because you make people uncomfortable by your knowledge that you share. So, and you got to accept yourself for you. I recognize that, but I said, what I found hysterical is you come to me, you want to hear what I have to share. You admire, you respect what you are receiving from me in my presence. Then in front of a public, you want me to like shut down. I mean, I've had very close friends like, honey, I won't post anything you share. I won't post any of your things because I kind of don't want people to attack me because I know you. So these are the type of things you face when you're a public person serving your truth. You just like blasted, and it's all part of it. You also accept that as a role because you're not here to answer to those individuals. You're here to answer to the divine light that is calling you to step forward and lead. So, yes, energy is lifted and lots is accelerating, Demetrius. Chuck says, just being taught that it was always us in us. Exactly. I lived in Asia for 12 years. Most societies over there, it's a way of life. Yeah, unfortunately. So there is a very powerful portal in Philippines that I was assigned to go and close with my planetary work, and because that's the biggest portal on Gaia where the mass amount of child trafficking takes place, because it's very tied into draconian energy. But I was also heavily warned by my team above how dangerous this work was, and I needed to be with certain individuals to be able to get there. And that's one of the planetary work that I have not been yet able to complete, because I didn't have the proper support to work with that portal and close it. That's the major one in Philippines, and I know where it is, which island, but divine, it just hasn't happened yet, because it does require certain individuals that they know exactly they're called to this, and they can stand within that frequency, so together we can close that portal. But it still unfortunately remains open. Yeah, Chuck says trafficking, that is yes. Lisa says enough is enough. We need to get this out so it can be stopped. Exactly, Lisa. So that's why the power of social media also brings it, and how you share it is also very important. Rachel says lifting darkness, exactly, is the revelation. So I want to also clear that work. It's not so much darkness, it's the density into light. So we want to move away from this color as well. It's just density that's heavier energies. Chuck says in Thailand, trafficking is an economic powerhouse. It is, and so is in Iran. There is a city entirely dedicated in legally trafficking children. It's freaking legal. So to me, slavery was legal. Is that right? The Auschwitz, that was legal. What happened? Does that make it right? Where do we draw the line? And I come from that Iranian culture. Pedophilia is freaking legal. It's freaking legal. And I'm very sensitive about this, because the families in my own family, with doing a lot with children. And so I have so much sensitivity towards this, because to me, because it's that, and because, oh, well, this just goes on. When will you have enough courage to be like, I am not okay with this, and I'm not going to accept it? So I have had fights with my brother over this. I mean, screaming fights. Being a mother of children, I would damn if I'm going to accept this. So until he has now a child, he now understands what I was screaming about, what I will not accept. So I have raised my children so conscious since they were very little, what is absolutely not okay. When them playing sports with their friends and what have you, and any of the family members, hell no, what is absolutely not okay. So we have the personal responsibility ourselves to educate our children and not leave it in the hands of others to bring that education. Let's see. Let me come back here to a little bit more. So then we have Chuck says it's all about love, real easy, right? Dimitri says there was a lot of slight buffering. Yes, it was. Sorry about that. And love is the answer, but not the human love. The human love is too weak. The human love is conditioned. It is not the power of the divine love. We're talking about the divine love. When we can start to bring the language of the divine in, that's when we are empowered. Chuck, you might as well hug your ego. Have a hug party with your ego. No fighting. The fighting's got to end. Heart and soul, integrated emotional intelligence in action, unconditional. It is, Demetrius, and it is an art for sure. Lisa says, thank you for saying this, honey. Every time I do or say something out of mention, it is deemed as conspiracy. Exactly. And you know what's interesting? Let's talk about the doctors, right? The doctors that came out on Capitol Hill. and they actually spoke. I had so much respect for them. I was actually one of the ones that watched it. Did any of you watch it? And I found it amazing. The ones that opposed never didn't even bother watching it. And these are holistic health, also light workers, just because they feel it's supporting Trump, didn't even bother watching it. And then here they are, they're so concerned about wearing masks and protection of their family, but they're so afraid to even watch a video of holistic doctors teaming up, having the courage to speak, and a beautiful African lady to speak with her accent. She's like doomed. And it's so interesting. Then they want to talk about like, oh, how she believes in magic and like, dark entities. Are you kidding me? Dark entities everywhere. Black magic is in practice in so many countries, from the African culture to the Middle Eastern culture to South American culture, even in the land of America. Are you freaking kidding me? And then on top of it, they want to sort of like just blast her for having an accent, believe in UFOs. Hello, extraterrestrial beings. There's so many of us on the planet. It's just hysterical to me. And then what I found, the individuals who had come to my galactic events in light language, light transit, they've taken part, they're part of my circle, and they're like, oh, she talked about aliens. It's so hysterical. Anyway, in honor of her, I brought this sister angel, one of the most powerful angels that many, of course, is all about like, oh, an angel has to appear white. All these things have to dismantle to demonstrate this. Thank you to that beautiful Dr. Angel for having the courage of speaking out. This is what we're dealing with, right? So Sandra says we have to make unpopular choices sometimes just to be respectful of others as best you can, but stand your truth. Unpopular choices, it is the Christ life. Didn't Yeshua, Mary Magdalene speak about love, the power of divine love? And they needed to be literally murdered for it, especially beloved Yeshua, because it was too threatening. What difference does it make 2,000 years later? Aren't we here? We're speaking our truth, and our truth cannot be handled. And it's the truth of the heart, right? Because we can see clearly. And it's like, I haven't had to wear a mask locally. Yeah, because you're in Florida, Valerie. It's very different. I am scheduled to fly to Germany. Oh, you're going to go finally. Nice. October to visit my daughter. I wonder how strict airports would be. There's quite a bit of announcements coming up on that. So take a look of that. Interesting. But here there is mandatory mask. And so I learned Article 64, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check this. Part 2 and Part 7 articulates the Civil Rights Act that you, due to health and also religious belief, you are not mandated to wear a face mask. So that is something like, let's say grocery store, go and say, I have health issues, I cannot wear. They'll respect that. And if you want, just put a sign, health issue, can't wear mask. And people would be in general more respectful. And I feel like, okay, let's practice that. Why not? That law exists. Let's use the civil law to our advantage. Okay, Caitlin says, I am Filipino. Yes, it is. My mom and my father's second wife are both male ordered brides. Yeah, isn't it interesting? So was my grandmother. My grandmother was married at age 11, had her first child, and but her parents had died. So, she bared 8 children. And at what point do we say no? Stand up for this. Really stand up for this. I love to support if you can with protection. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big one. Philippines, darling, it's a big one when we get there. Thank you, Caitlin. Chuck says, yes, I was working and expressing compassion to some of the girls stuck in trafficking over in Asia. Immediately I was visited by spirits and orbs. Please piss them off, I guess. Well, yeah, there's a lot of dark attachment to that. Just so that you know, like a virgin boy in the black market under the age of 9 sells for $20,000. Did you know that? Under the age of 9. Wonder why there's a lot of children missing? Who wants to talk about this? Sandra says they make money off people being ignorant. Absolutely. Demetrius says the lower dimensional density of the ego have to be transmuted. Yes. Hi, Dan. Love you, brother. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So there's a lot around this, and I would really invite you with my post that I wrote. Please do post about it. Please do comment on it, and share what your heart feels, but come from your heart. So it is really, really there. And I feel the voice of the Magdalene is a big part of it. I just want to discuss this for a minute. By the way, my dear sacred galactic sister Conchetta, who is on here, but she never knows how to do a live chat. Conchetta, I love you. So on her private page on Facebook called With Love from Spirit, tonight at 9 p.m., she has a Zoom called Prayer for the Children. So please, join on that. It would be really wonderful for those of you that want to take part in the prayer for the children. And also what you post on Facebook is very important, but share about the operations railroad, and that is individuals who can volunteer and directly take part, which is the next step that can help out tremendously. The other part that I wanted to share is, since last week Wednesday, when I facilitated the Magdalene ceremony, I'm first and most importantly so deeply grateful for the individuals who really prepared for this 4-hour ceremony and gave themselves the experience to have this Magdalene initiation ceremony. It took me several days to just prepare. So I have to not just prepare my vessel, prepare the space, prepare the altar. The altar is a huge part of it, and hopefully some of you got the chance to see it. Let me just show this picture. I believe most of you did, but I feel it's very important to see the altar one more time. So this is the altar. This is all about the diamond, golden, rose, and heart, the Magdalene heart. And this is me in front of the altar, and the details. So it does take me several days to set it, because it has to set the vibration so it becomes a portal here. And so what I'm sitting on right now is just the center of it, as the rest has taken part. And for the individuals to also create this sacred grid altar so they can sit in it to hold the vibration frequency so they can go through the experience. And I never imagined that such a ceremony that's so sacred that I've facilitated in person could actually be done on Zoom. And I really asked May Magdalene to assist the way, because I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. I mean, this is designed to be in person, the initiation, the rose blessings, and can individuals self-initiate that? So this self-initiation was so remarkable. And the Zoom initially didn't work with the microphone, but I was able to record it, fortunately, on my laptop, very close to me, this 4 hours that we journeyed together. And it was so transformative. Transcendence, and I'm still integrating. And what I want to share is that, having a chance to share, my template the next day was very different. I get to see my crystalline diamond had changed its holograph into the rose. The holograph of the rose was so remarkable. Caitlin and Lisa were part of the experience. But my own holograph has completely shifted, and to be able to see it as the holograph of the rose which carries the voice of the Magdalene consciousness on the planet. That's why the voice of the truth has to come powered by the power of the divine feminine heart in action of the sacred divine masculine, was so empowering. And I'm very grateful to everybody else, several other people, at least 9 other people that took part in the recording afterwards, so they can go through the experience. And what an honor for Michael to have experienced it in the 2nd year. And this time we had another male, sacred male, to be initiated in the Magdalene, but to experience it himself. And Fidel and Michael this time to recognize the what. And I asked Michael, I said, Michael, what does it take for the rest of the man? And I love the answer he said to me. He said, honey, you have to understand, we've never been allowed to walk or step into these sacred ceremonies. It's always been women. I was like, the fact that you even opened the door to me last year for me to experience, that transcended me. I had no clue, and I have just mad respect. And now this year, I am so touched, and I own my Magdalene heart. And that was his video that he shared, and so did Fidel. Fidel's like, I'm so touched by the presence of Magdalene, and I wanted individuals to have their own direct experience. And I'm so honored. Even in the ceremony on Zoom, it came through for those that took part. And then in the video, the people that taken part of the video, they got to experience it as well. And I feel when we carry this, we're carrying a certain frequency that's very pure, very clean, and stands in its truth and radiates it and doesn't hold back its energetic field. And for those of you gentlemen on this here, if you felt called to experience the ceremony that is not been open to men before, this is the 2nd year I've opened it, reach out to me. The video is full 4 hours. You do have to fully prepare, and you have to read everything like everybody else took part. You have to set it, and you have to go in your heart, offer your love gift offering for it from the truth of your heart, and prepare and go through the ceremony. And I love more of you Magdalenes to stand up, the male, because we need that. So what I love is both Fidel and Michael recognize that, wow, I now can see how Yeshua rose because of the power of the Magdalene, of the love as the container. And to me, wow, when that consciousness has already kicked in. So that means through the collective, this can also become available. And while I am now in this space of watching this holograph, and this holograph does go into the 8-8 as well with its peak of it to be able to hone it in. And of course, our Tuesday night meditation. So there's a lot intricate part of this, and we will be still integrating and the ability to voice our truth with so much grace, with so much elegance, and pulling in the divine qualities in, and definitely just not holding back in any way. Sandra says, please share the link. Share the link of my friend. It's on all my 3 pages on Honey Borden Author Speaker Healer, as well as Ascension Alchemists, and this Honey Borden personal page. Lisa says, it was amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for receiving it and taking part with your Magdalene. So much love. Sandra says, I really wanted to participate. My heart was there. Yeah, and you still can. The video is there. It's 4 hours, Sandra. It doesn't go anywhere. Andrew says, wow, super awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. The self-initiation was incredibly powerful. And for me, the 22nd of this month and every month, I'm going to do the rose blessing for myself. I just feel guided each month to anchor back in the rose blessing ceremony. So all of you can take part if you wish. And just says, choose from that. Wow. Thank you. It is pretty apparent. Chuck says, please tell Michael I said hi. I miss him. Wake him up and give him an amazing hug for him. Yeah, he should be coming out to do the angel blessings in a minute. So let's see if we can get him out. Thank you so much for that, Chuck. I will. So couple of other things I wanted to share. Let's see. Let me see if he's up or he's sleeping. Can we get him to come do the angel reading for us? Anything else you all want to share, by the way? Anything it's sitting in your field? What are you all planning to do for 8/8? Let me hear that. So Dan asked, do you think this 8/8 has any particular significance? Darling, 8/8s, all of them have particular significance. Of course, one of them, all of you also can watch. Dan, I posted my video of 8/8 from 5 years ago on my fan page. It's still extremely relevant to now. I also posted another video yesterday, and end of next week I'll be posting quite a bit of details. I've already received the keys and the codes. This one extremely significant for 2020 because the COVID is a huge part of the crown initiation of our divine sovereign self. So we are being aligned with our infinite beingness through this 8/8 portal and bridging the gap between the heavenly realm onto earth, the macro and the micro, and the galactic center in that stream of the golden light, and anchored so deep. It is a huge part of our Christed light stepping forward. So of course, in the year of 2020, it is extremely significant. Wow, Chuck, yours birthday is 8/9. That's going to be wonderful. Caitlin says, planning to be naked somewhere outside nature for the most of it. Good. Be naked, enjoy. Good on you. Demetrius says, walking to nature when it's in beautiful nature. You got to be nature. We are deciding last minute what we're going to be doing and make a career out of it. And we prefer being naked as well. It's very beautiful to be embraced in this golden frequency and bringing it in. And we're supposed to leave on Sunday for our trip, but we're both feeling that's shifting. So we're going to leave middle of the week instead. So we're still receiving where we really want to anchor the 8/8 frequency for this now. I feel it still would be around the Arcadia grid line, as we've done quite a bit of work with this one. That's a big part of the Atlantis energy that we're dismantling of the past. That's still playing a huge part here within the satanic rituals, within the Masons, within the Illuminati, within the the governments and what have you, and bringing the voice of the Magdalene to it. So there's quite a bit. Again, it's nothing new. It's been 8 years of my life devoted to this and opening up the breath of it. So we'll see what happens. How beautiful. So let me see if Michael is up. Sorry, you want to come say goodbye and your okay. We're gonna get Michael here so he can wrap up with our angelic message right here. And so much love to that. Sandra, you said, I'm starting early to walk in nature at sunrise. Beautiful every day, very early. Thank you. By the way, Sandra is amazing, everyone. Please connect with her. She knows how to work that golden light from the central sun. Michael, Chuck's been asking all about you.
Hi, Chuck. Good to see you.
Oh, you look like you're alive now.
Oh, I don't know. My eyes look half awakened and
Yeah.
bloodshot. Hello, everyone. Hi there, Demetrius, Caitlin, Chuck. Sandra, good to see you, dear sister. I have a lot of things on your way. Sorry for the delay. It's been a bit crazy.
Michael,
this
look,
past
this
2
is
weeks.
the Magdalene. Magdalene still, Magdalene, look. I spilled here from the water.
Okay.
See if that feels better.
Okay. Wonderful. Sorry, I'm a little out of it right now. A little out of it. But good to see you guys. Chuck, love you. Sandra, biggest hug. Thank you so much for that.
And look, I brought the angel next to you.
Oh, wonderful. Did you tell about the Martin Luther card that you got? Martin Luther King,
I
got
didn't.
With it?
That you can. I told you it's Friday tea time. You could share so much. Is there anything you want to share?
Well, it was amazing because that transmission that came in when I was doing the
Wow,
meditation.
you look so much better.
Well, I've been lying down
for like 6 hours. You look like you're actually ready for the royal lines of the StarGate now. Look at you.
Right now, look at my eyes.
Uh-huh.
Where was I? Okay. When I was doing meditation 2 Sundays ago, and when Martin Luther King came in, and just really spoke about the freedom, the freedom of our thoughts, the freedom of our voice, the freedom of our action, that we do have the freedom within ourselves to choose how we're going to.
Also bring this
how we're going.
Please, can you look like a total lion? Oh my goodness!
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Don't touch it.
No, I'm just like, I'm half here. So when you're working with the hair, I'm trying to give the message to the beautiful 10 people that are watching.
Okay.
But no, it was amazing because as I was going in, and ever since I was young, I felt like it's been my passion to really feel the full freedom of who we are, and I've never really felt that the fullness of freedom in the systems and the education and the programs and beliefs. So it's been my biggest journey to really stand up in that freedom. And beautiful Martin Luther King, who my father, my grandfather, who worked very, very deep into civil rights in Baltimore and the Maryland area. It was always a blessed figure in our family to speak upon his path. So it was amazing to get his card when you ordered your necklace.
So I ordered my necklace, and when it arrived, it was so interesting. That same day, where Michael had received Martin Luther King Jr. is one of my spirit guides and one of Michael's spirit guides.
Actually came through,
and I've had the honor 2 years ago. I wasn't planning at all. When I went into a transmission, he actually came through me. I usually don't let the spirits communicate through me, but he was so close enough. I allow him to utilize my vessel and speak. We should really put that transmission. What he said, it was so beautiful.
Can I share it?
If you want to read it, you can.
Okay,
but so it was so touching for both Michael and I. Couple years ago, and we do greet him every single day. I mean, just mad respect for him. So that morning when this happened with Michael, I had received my necklace with her arriving and the card of, I just love my angel. And also Michael received a Dr. Martin Luther King card just like this. I said, I gifted to him. He's like, did you know I experienced this with Dr. Martin Luther King? And I was like, oh my gosh, here, look at this.
Look what they
gave.
Hold
look
on.
at that.
I put it in my wallet
so beautiful.
So I could have.
And we have the other one on our card.
They gave this. They sent this. How beautiful is that?
So beautiful.
They sent this. And so I'll finish what he said to me, and then we'll talk about the transmission in the channel. But I was at a point that, all that we're going through, we have this choice of giving our own freedom to what we choose to believe, how we choose to act, what we do in every single day. I know, Caitlin, you're a huge activist in the DC area, and we know that you're sensitive being of like get pulled into it, as many of us do. But he said so gracefully in his words of just the freedom of every single thing that we do is based on our own choice. So we don't have to give our power away to any of these areas, even these vaccinations, the government, all this false media. That's the falsehood that they're trying to throw over us. But we have the freedom. I have the freedom that I can shut and lock my door. No one's going to come in and force me to do anything that I don't want. And I feel that's the same thing that we should all honor within each other, because it's this game of fear, this game of separation, this game of how we can diminish your power by, giving all this false information. So as he was, sharing this, I just felt, these goosebumps move through my body, because it just shows that we are free sovereign beings. We are now in a point of 2020 where we're standing up to the fullest expression of our power, and we can't let any limitation on the outside affect our own personal freedom and our growth. And so when he said that, it just made me completely inspired of like, wow, like no one's breathing for us, no one's eating for us, no one's resting for us. This is our life. No one's here to take that away, no matter what's outside of this democracy / what looks like a communist country sometimes in its dictatorship.
It's democracy, communist.
With a
it's
hidden
okay.
agenda, but no politics or religion in this conversation.
It's okay.
But point being is, he came through, and it was just another opportunity to really look at our sovereignty and what our sovereignty is, because this land is free. These waters are free. Everything around us is free in nature, and we don't have to give our own limitations or what we may feel entrapped in times of this quarantine. Because again, what are people doing? What happened in the first couple months? Honey and I would drive around and be like, quarantine, everyone's driving around. We'd go out into nature. We'd walk around in so many different areas. They say, as much as they choose to put this mask and cover us in the lack of freedom, we still have this ability to do what we want. The key is not to give our freedom or our power to all the negative media that's coming out. And even to what I want to say to a lot of light workers, we get pulled into it to the point that there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of bickering. We got to do this, we got to do this. It's like, it's great to reveal it, but again, it's almost like, do we want to activate our energy in the highest level of light, or do we want to keep being pulled down by the lower energies that want to pull you into the areas of anxieties of anger, frustration? It's okay to feel that, but to get into this continuous battle of like, we have to do this, we have to do this, it's like the forces are here to help us. And if we stay in our heart and we stay in our love and we stay in our freedom, that we choose what we want to do, then no force is going to come in and take over our lives, no matter what they say, because we know we didn't come into this lifetime to be imprisoned. We didn't come here to be slaves. We've already lived that old paradigm. And now the new paradigm that we're moving into is going to be a place where we are in the freest of our divine nature and heart. So this man, I believe, is, one of the biggest catalysts, in our lives to show what happened in the 60s and what happened in the revolution that my parents were a part of and just moving through. And then to come forward with Honey, it was November of 2 years ago, that she woke up in the middle of the night, and this is what usually happens. She goes into channel, and I'm very honored because I'm by her side, and the channel is
grabs the phone.
I grab the phone so she can hear it, because she doesn't remember it. She just sees it as an orb on the side. And Martin Luther King came through and spoke to her, and it was the first being that was actually coming from an earthly plane versus all the masters, light councils, aliens. He came through and he spoke.
The extraterrestrials.
He spoke directly about about what's going to happen in the revolution that's going to happen on the more.
Wait. Do you have the, wait, one second. Do you have the audio?
I do, but it's very hard to hear. It's very, 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 you can play it.
Can you play it just for a second?
Yeah, if they can hear it.
But let's just see for a second. Otherwise, we'll
if you guys can hear it, I'll play it, because it's a powerful level of talking about the revolution that's going to be taking place underground, more behind the scenes. And I feel that he's speaking about what's happening right now. And
I feel,
and that's why
you're correct.
And that's why I feel that
we happened 2 years ago.
We are situated in Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, which sometimes we laugh at because it's sometimes the last place we want to be in. But
so go grab it for a second. Let's see, because.
But point being is, it was a very pivotal moment, because it shows that us light workers, we do have a power within us beyond this 3D dimensional, that we can work in other planes and dimensions to disempower all the levels that are happening. I don't know if you told them about your dream about the vaccinations. I did. And
earlier
how,
today.
Things happen.
Chuck, you should listen to that earlier, because you joined it. I don't know if you saw it.
Let me get
You know what I was also feeling like this Friday to them? I love it's Michael and I talking, but like I kind of wish we could all like interact like in a Zoom room together. Wouldn't that be so much fun? You all grab the tea, we just talk. Wouldn't that be so much fun? Because we all walk each other home.
Okay,
See if you can remember.
Yeah, so it was in November.
This is, by the way, a lot of these transmissions are part of our book, Channeling the Masters. And so it's in the works. Michael has promised me since last year he'll finish the transcription. I can't quite do the transcription because when I hear my own voice with the master speaking through, it really just, it's hard. I don't know why it's hard for me to hear it, because like my eyes start going like this and I can't quite write it. But Michael does very well with it. Yeah, I feel so. Maybe one of these Friday tea times, what I'm going to put it on Zoom, so you all can join a Zoom, and we still go live on YouTube. I still can do that, just post it live, and we just have like a talk, because you all type here, and it's so beautiful. But it was so great so you all can meet each other. You know, Angela, you've been with us for a while. Dan, you're a sacred brother with Demetrius from London. It's so good. Did you hurt yourself?
I'm just half in, half out. So it was November 23rd, 2016. So this was literally...
Wow, 4 years ago. No, it can't be 2016. You and I, it has to be 2017.
It was 2017.
Yeah, because
3 years ago,
we met.
a year and a couple weeks after, a year and a week after we met. So, so let me just explain this transmission with Honey. When she goes into channel, the channel comes out on the exhale, and the inhale comes, she inhales it and exhales it. I almost want to get my speaker to this so that they can hear it, because my phone is not as loud as it can be. So let me go upstairs real quick. It's a powerful channel.
I haven't gone into Transmedium channel for quite a while. I kind of shut it down for a little bit, a year, and Michael's very upset, because for the first 2.5, 3 years, I was constantly in transmission. So many beings were speaking to me, and I was like, I need a break too. I need to be in my human being. Meanwhile, because I can see this boy getting too addicted to the masters.
I'm excited for all
excited and addicted, just waiting. Who else is going to speak through?
I'm excited for all the wonderful, powerful nuggets of wisdom that are here to help. And, you know, all these masters, all these people were coming out. I wasn't addicted. I was just happy, because the more that it was sharing through us, the more that it was giving insight, just like what Mr. Martin Luther King is going to share right now. So let's see if...
So toning, yes, I do. Usually when I want to go through, I have to go through. Where is the bus?
The bus.
Or we put it inside a crystal bowl.
The bus. Okay.
You're the speaker. We took it on the trip.
You're asking him. I'm half with it.
But you look delicious while you're half out. Whenever he's out of in the multi-universes, Michael, I hope you brought it back with you. I mean, I don't know. Michael is back in the cosmos, trying to bring him back in here. But anyway, so Chuck, you were asking. So I am an incorporated transmedium. So what happens is that when my eyes do close, the presence enters my body. So my consciousness steps on the side. My hands are in a weird, whatever position. And then the voice often alters. And yes, I do have to create certain sounds to shift my octave to be able to make the connection, so that as a receiver, the being can actually communicate through me. I'm going to use the restroom for a moment. So, it does take tremendous life force. It wipes me out sometimes. So
what's so amazing about it is when they do come through, it's giving insights. And with the channeling of the masters, it's actually, you'll appreciate this, Sandra, different types of rays of light, which I'm sending you, Sandra, the 7 rays of light, visualizations and activations that we can all do in allowing for example, Lord Hilarian's green ray to come through us and activate our healing, or when El Mori has come through in his blue ray and spoke about the will of God and how we can bring that blue ray in. It's very powerful. And when they speak, it's such in this graceful, beautiful, beloved way. And it's not addicted, as Honey says. I get excited. Honey gets overwhelmed because sometimes she's like, is this really happening? Is this for real? But I keep telling her, yes, it is for real, because that's why I have all these on my phone to help her realize that these are happening. We are eventually going to get this all transcribed in a book when everything's settled down, when we are in a mode of slowness, which I think right now we are going through that.
You know what? This was coming to me. Would you all like, when we do a Zoom between us, maybe, I don't know, maybe if it's appropriate and I feel maybe I can just allow myself to go into a transmediumship
of God,
and just see who comes in.
I think, you know what, if we could do that weekly, that'd be wonderful.
Oh, hey, take it easy.
But yes, Valerie, actually, in my morning prayer,
we call them in.
I call in the rays of light every single day.
Every day.
That is my morning medicine.
Every single day.
Yes, Caitlin, get on her. Tell her, all of you guys, tell her, because literally she's like,
like Angela,
yes. It's
hey, take it easy, you all. With Michael
when they do it, I mean, can I tell you?
Lisa has attended one of. Lisa, which one did you come to? Which channel the master? Was it with Master Hilarion that spoke through?
Tesla has come through.
Yeah.
The masters have come through.
But she knows, she's meant to see how intense it is, you know?
They've all come through. And to me, it's like, it's a blessing. Yes, it puts strain on her health and well-being, but why do you think the masters have placed me next to her? Because if I don't give her acupuncture, massage, and all this love, it helps reboot her very quickly.
Oh, yeah, this has come to
it helps. And I believe that this golden child has the vessel to bring forward very, very, very powerful wisdom that is here to bring forth the reminder of what we're here to do. And I know I do appreciate all those that are here. It's in divine timing when it's meant to be. It was just funny because when I started working with her in the first couple of years, every time I worked on her, she'd go into it. I'm like, and all of a sudden they'd come through me to use my body as a vessel through my hands, and they're like, don't move, we're going to work through you. And I'm like, okay. So I try not to be like a little boy excited on candy, being like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say now? Like the mother of divine being like, okay, move your hands out to clear the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body. As Honey's like this, and she's like, you know, in her mouth like this, and I'm like, okay, just let them keep telling me what to do. Honestly, the funniest time is when the Golden Council of Light came through. In the middle of the night, Honey's like, I can't breathe. I'm losing. Check my heart rate. And I'm like, okay, I know CPR, I know first aid. This was my background in sports medicine. Okay, signs, sight, pulse, breath here. Okay, vital signs, check. Then she's out. I'm like, okay, she's out. We got a pulse. She's breathing. Golden Council of Light, here they come. Beloved ones, we are here to deliver a message. As she's breathing it out, passed out. Please place your hands above her crown chakra and lower chakra and visualize the golden dazzling ray of light. No, we see that you're thinking it, Michael. Feel it. We are with you. And so I'm like on the spotlight at being like, okay, I can't fake this. I'm doing my best. But it was funny because they would hold me accountable in this space of like, here they come. And it was amazing because she'd go back to bed and I'd sit there. Look how excited
you got out of tiredness. Look how excited you got channeling
because you see, they say they're excited for it. I'm excited for it. And part of it is the masters are excited for it.
Maybe we do that.
She keeps saying it has to be spontaneous.
Because I don't choose it, you know.
She can if she wanted to. She could choose it. When we were in Mexico and the Council of Light came in front of me and a friend, and they talked about the rays of light when in front of vitamin, in front of the sun, the vitamin D would help open us up. So, thank you, Valerie. I'm a little revived because when she talks about channeling, it brings me out of the 3D into the 5D
look how
and into
fast.
the higher levels.
All I have to say, channeling.
And I was resting, honey. Sometimes sitting in front of a screen, brings my energy down for a while. So I'm on it. But those that are here, please give her a little nudge of like, bring forth the channels, because for me, we know we have a lot to transcribe.
Okay, let them hear.
Then
I
they can go
haven't
through.
heard this myself in almost
and maybe
3 years.
after hearing this, you're gonna be like, wow, I
Okay,
gotta get back into
maybe.
it. Maybe.
Let's see.
We even said this during COVID. Remember when and we were at Fidel the Lights
Oh, by the way, when we went to
Ascension.
Fidel's this past Saturday for the Golden Age, so Bill Sander was sitting in front of me, and I was behind him. And when we went, I start going to, I'm like, oh, shizzle, here we go.
Who wanted to come in?
Oh my God.
Saint Germain. Yeah. Who else? Serapis Bay. Who else?
Yeah, I mean, they're all
she pretends like they're just like little, like, oh yeah, they're just my friends
like,
on the side, when all of us are kind of like,
Lord.
well, geez, if the masters want to speak and share us the message,
But
I mean,
you know
honey,
what? Maybe
more
we
than
do that
welcome.
with Bill, because I was like, Bill, we've just got to get together. Let's have them meet each other. It was very powerful.
Honestly, I if you want to right now to go on live, we can.
No, it's okay. Today, not okay. We're just finishing. That's okay.
Okay.
That's
all right.
okay.
So, we'll play this and see how it goes. So it takes a little time to get into this. This is 2 a.m, by the way.
Will be channeled, but I'll be repeating what he's saying.
Okay.
Has such potential to recognize. This is the sun rays that I was showing you. The sun rays represents the smiles that come from their hearts.
The sun rays represent that comes from the heart something. But with this one, I remember I said I don't want him to fully enter into me.
Right, but he still spoke through you.
He still spoke, but I was like, I want to be more in the mediumship.
Right.
Okay.
Let us know if you can hear this clear, because it's a very muffled, because it's at night, early in the morning.
Each person is capable of it. And these sun rays reflect the sun that beloved Christ had talked about.
What beloved Christ had talked about.
Yes, however, those presented in your home earlier today.
Those presented in your home earlier today.
Is exact reflection of what we're speaking, in which humanity can come together.
Was the exact reflection of what I was speaking about coming together.
Which humanity?
It's all a spectrum of colors and communicate from that place.
The spectrum of the light communicating in
which only truth relies. The place of love.
Which only truth is realized through the rays of love.
Right.
Yes, it's a little muffled,
It's
Elisa.
hard.
It's very hard. So that's why we have to transcribe it, because sometimes it's very challenging to hear. But we'll repeat it afterwards.
Thank you. I know it's taken a long time to establish that. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing it. You've been working with.
That was a very difficult one to hear.
Is it?
Look, 1 second. I feel let's show him one that's more clear, at least, because this is a very difficult one to hear. I feel what we should do, this one, the transcripts, you can actually read it. That would be better, because it's a really, really hard one. Do you have one of the ones? Which one of the channels is pretty clear that they can actually hear?
Archangel Michael. But can we just get to the point where you said, let me just see something real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So if you want to hear something very, very powerful.
Would you like to hear one of them that's extremely clear, where it's precise and to the point?
Well, I mean, the one that's blown me away over and over, and what's initiated me into
is that maybe the Archangel Michael today. It was 3 years ago, July 17, 2017, he came through. So I feel that one, none of you have heard it before. I feel that's probably the most sacred one to hear.
Oh, and she sounds like Darth Vader because when she breathes in, she's like, and then it comes out.
So let me just share with you. So this was on a Friday, and we had just flown to Los Angeles, and I was so just exhausted. And I was from this place of I really wanted to just leave Earth. We'd gone to the ocean. I'm like, what is holding you back from here? I just want to leave. I don't want to be on Earth anymore. This is too exhausting. So I was in there, and I kept telling Michael, I'm like, Michael, I'm tired. These hands are tired, not physically, energetically. I was like, I can't carry this load anymore. I'm so tired. It was so painful. So Michael had put a couple of needles on me, and he kept massaging my hand. This is what's happening before this happened. So I was like, ow, this hurts. It hurts. But it wasn't physically. The emotional, mental pain was so much. So he kept doing, so I kept going, and I kept going to higher sounds. Boom, my consciousness left, step on the side. Michael grabbed the phone. This is what happened.
And Angela, I'm going to transcribe the Martin Luther King because I think you're exactly right. There is a message for it right now, and I'm going to play it back for Honey. And thank you for that intuitive level. So,
okay. So just for 1 second.
Wait.
So just before you hear it, because this one, I get all the chills coming in. So uncross your legs, take a couple of deep breaths in your heart, because this one is a very powerful one from Archangel Michael.
This was the gift that initiated the Archangel Michael transformational healing that I've done the past 3 years in person, and will be taking it to remotely very soon. But this is the one that has initiated, because this is the activation within me that Honey was blessed to be the channel to come through.
It's parasites of pain, and they have not known the removals of the pain or freedom into liberation and transformation of their templates. It is the fall of mankind that has had to be the way to bring about the greatest victory of God and the further expansion in the universal flow of the laws. Many hands have been behind us, so those who have incarnated into the human form can take part, so the universe can expand. Some of these earthlings can be recalled, but most have no idea. With the pains trapped in their bodies, they are not free souls. They cannot fly. They've been angels. They came from purity. Their wings have been clipped. Their etheric beings are with them and have to be free. Hands and feet carry the liberation. The channels open up. The flow opens back up. It is I that help many of these earthlings. And as I have been called upon to use the flame, the blue sword flame, to cut and help. and help them back to their freedom. You, dear, that is currently working on this vessel, you have to realize what you are doing in this moment is removal of the tapestry of the pain within. There are fabrics of the beings of these vessels that have taken many, many incarnations, but the channels have not been opened. And it is their hands and feet that opens them up. So there, what you so-called chi energy flows through them. The vessel in which I'm speaking through right now is receiving the openings through her webs, fully opening. This is one of the highest level of work you can do with many beings staying, opening those channels within so-called the pressure of the needles in which you put in, and then tackle the hands and the feet. Dear, do you hear? What you are doing, you are helping remove the obstacles that have been placed forward through the pain, the severe pain that is trapped in many of these vessels. Do you recognize who I am, dear, in which is speaking to you in this moment? The hands have been given, but because of the suffering within their trapment inside their webs, they cannot receive the fullness of the blessings of the heavenly realm running through their bodies. It is I that cut with my blue sword. It is I, Michael.
I just had to hear the I, Michael, because that transmission, that activate, I was in complete tears as it was coming through.
I had so much chills still. Like it's
and
so
it goes longer,
activated.
but that was a very, very powerful one. And it was really beautiful because it, you know, he was holding me accountable in what was being said. Like, do you hear? And, you know, interesting enough, before I met Honey in 2012, when I was in Lago Itilan in Guatemala.
What also they shared.
I was given that message. It's not this message, but when I was brought into a journey of what this was being led 4 years later, in that same time period of what was going to happen, what I signed in the underworld, the beautiful underworld, about what was happening in the next years. But how did you guys feel when receiving this? Because
just curious.
Yeah, just curious how you felt, what you went through. Because for me, when I hear this, it's an activation, and for those that receive this, obviously know that it's a very, very life-changing, powerful transformation. And
I hear my whole body starts going into the twitching, and like there's a lot happens, like because it starts raising, and I sweaty, and I had so much chills
And I know this is something very sacred, so
We don't share
so
it
it's not something
publicly.
to be shared. But what is interesting is, as a vessel, there are many beings, very powerful beings, that want to come in and speak and share, these messages. And I find this was one that
It's very
it
clear.
changed my life. And as you can tell with Archangel Michael's ability to fully express his divinity in his voice was powerful. That was probably the most clear. Some of them, when they're further away in dimensions, especially extraterrestrials, you have to listen very, very closely, because again, it's, I'm literally holding it up to her mouth without distracting the channel itself. And I'm also trying not to disengage her or wake her, because my whole point is to record it so it can be utilized as valuable wisdom to be translated or transcribed in a way that just brings more remembrance, because as we know, all that they're saying is already encoded within us, right. and it's activated highly. And for me, it's just been a blessing to have all of these beings come through and share their wisdom. And we definitely see that there are messages and codes that come through that link other channels. From the very beginning, the Order of Melchizedek, which was the very first one, when we came back after Honey helping me shut down my clinic in Mexico, was the very first one. And they gave us specific directions about the golden light and the pulsating light through our chakras that, we're to hold in gatherings. And they've come back again, future saying, we haven't seen you do this, but remember, it's very easy.
That one was a very clear transmission as well.
It was
very,
clear.
very, that was a very challenging one to bring it, because it was so heavy in its frequency and its life force. Like, what is everybody saying?
So, Angela, I had to move a lot while listening, made me want to stretch. I saw Honey face shifting while she remembered it and listened.
Yeah.
I always look forward to these Fridays. Thank you, Demetrius. Your voice was completely different. The message was clear.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandra, when they come in, her voice totally changes completely.
And my face changes.
And her changes. So, like, even when she's done it live, like, there is this part, I think what Honey also recognizes is her body has to be at a strong enough frequency and a comfort, because it's not like Abraham Hicks or Dowhan or all the others that are under one predominant channel. These are ones that are coming from higher frequencies. So when they come in, they have to adjust to.
It's not the human. It's just multi. I'm a multi-dimensional trans medium, fully incorporated. So that means there are many different frequencies that can utilize my field to come and just to make adjustment, for that adjustment to take place in the octave, so I can be a receiver, my vessel, so they can utilize my voice box for just a temporary space to bring it. It takes a while sometimes to adjust, to make that connection. And in the beginning is a bit challenging, choppy till it adjusts. But my fingers usually are like this, or my face is usually like this, because it still hasn't fully adjusted here either. Sometimes the frequency is just too strong.
And your body is your body is getting more comfortable with it, because the more comfortable your body is, you're allowing, because there is that tensing of the body when it comes through.
It's just the life force is so much in it. So what did Caitlin say?
I could really feel Archangel Michael. I have felt this kind of I have felt this kind of feeling better.
Good.
It's a lot of light force, and just as I would love to know more about this kind of channeling, I feel I might be this too. And I feel, we're all, there's an opportunity for all us to be empaths, but I feel at the same time, the gift is really depending where we are positioned in this life. And I
feel anybody can channel, and that's a gift naturally given to us. But as an incorporated channel, you really got to be careful and take your time, and to know, are you an incorporated channel, or are you just a channel? And if you're a channel, you don't use your body at all. It just speaks through, done. So, but if in incorporation, you got to really take care of your vessel. You can really short circuit your vessel, and I've had injuries along it, and I'm just much more careful because I don't want to do it for you. That's why you don't ever see me put up a channeling event as a public like on videos like that or anything like, because for me it's not about entertainment, it's the message, and I really got to prepare my vessel. And those who come to the event, they got to prepare their vessels, because we're sitting in a very sacred space. We're all going to experience the transmission. So I just look at it very differently.
And I would say, as the one that has helped Honey and be on the side of receiving it, in my absolute unconditional love, it's been a level of complete. She sees it as an addiction in her joking. I find it as an ecstasy or euphoria, because for me, it's the direct communication to the divine. And any one of us that knows when we are in complete connection to the divine, there's a frequency that comes through. And for those that have been in her experience when she does it live, for me, that's done, that it taps into my heart of like, this is home. This is what gives me the will, the faith, and the hope to be like, this is the wisdom that is here to awaken us to higher levels. And so I still feel there's a lot coming forward when she feels comfortable, and sometimes she gets mad when I'm like, honey, do you ever want to, like, when we're during COVID or what's happening right now, do you ever feel that you just want to open up to see if a channel just gives anything that's practical to you, practical to the alignment, without abusing it, without using it, without manipulating, without trying to take it to an egoic level. But at the same time, Angela, I'm glad you said this, like, go back to what Martin Luther King said. He spoke, which is hard to hear on this, that there is going to be a revolution. That revolution is like what he spoke about is behind the scenes of what's going to happen.
But we're seeing it already.
Yeah, we are seeing it. But for the light workers that are divided, and for a lot of people that are still captured in a lot of this fear, it's also nice to know that there are other forces that can be given the same amount of attention as all the other forces. Because right now I'm seeing, in most of the media broadcasts, it's just heavily depicted on all the negative stuff. And what I really want to focus on is more on the positive stuff. And it's almost hard to see, so much negative, because we know it's there, but let's not give so much energy to the negative. Let's bring the truth. Let's bring the love, the forgiveness, the compassion, but let's bring the love of what we're here to really awaken, because it's almost like it's so much easier to focus on all the stuff that's pulling us in versus why aren't we talking about all the light beings and the beings on the other side that are helping us? That's like the 1% of like, well, I got a channel from the Great Federation of Light. Oh, they said this. Well, let's hear more of it, because that vibration lifts many light workers and many supporters to give them the hope and faith that I feel. So maybe
we'll do it like as a Zoom together, because you guys are very beautiful, respectful.
We could do it one day before the 8/8. We could do it next Friday.
Comfortable, and we can just meet together, have our tea, but you have to prepare your vessels, no toxins in it for a couple of days. Keep it very pure. Be in your prayer that day, and then we just see. I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea. I never know what happens, who comes in, what happened. And we just sit together and experience, and just in a private group. I prefer that.
That's beautiful, Sandra, that you've been told that Lord Katumi wants to speak through. He's another powerful guy that I meet each day in the prayer.
His frequency is amazing.
I never felt that before. It's beautiful, it's Caitlin, powerful. Because what that transmission done has created the healing of the Archangel Michael transformational healing, which is a whole other feeling of own.
And just if any of you want to experience a full one, I have 3 videos of like the Master Hilarion and Lord Lanto. Those were very powerful events, and I have a full video. The audio is pretty clear, but again, you have to experience. You have to. That's been on the side for people that want to go through the experience, preparing the vessel to receive it, and
I will be honest. Yeah. What I love about Honey, and this is what it's so beautiful about her. She is so humble. And there's a level of humility about her that sometimes downplays the importance of what she's bringing forward.
Oh, yeah, Valerie listened to the Hilarion channel.
And sometimes because because that humility and humbleness and selflessness of what she does, doesn't give the magnitude of what those that are receiving it, because she's the incorporated channel and she's going through a whole other journey of her own. For me, witnessing so many, it gives such a, it's beyond words. It gives such a powerful experience.
No, but I also experienced my vessel,
right.
like experiencing
Sure. Well,
things,
it's an upgrade,
know?
but to me, it's an activation. And what is so powerful is, you can go on YouTube, you can go through so many different channels, and everyone has their own individual experience, and to each to their own. Some you're like, okay, I feel that. Okay, some, we know that there is, in a non-incorporated channel, what I've seen is there is still a filter that has to go through every body, especially the ego and the belief system and the programs that we've all been taught. What's different about an incorporated channel is there is no ego. There is no emotional, but everything is placed to the side so that the complete, authentic trueness, validity of what's coming through is a pureness. Take nothing away from everyone else.
What's interesting, you do experience you meeting a different being, because it's just my vessel, but it's not my face, it's not my voice. It's just a different presence. I feel that's pretty up.
It's not just a different presence. It's the trueness of the activation that's before you. So to me, what it is, it's like when Lord Hilarion speaking through you, you're in the presence of Lord Hilarion right there speaking through you. When Saint Germain is coming through, and this happened a lot on the gateways, Saint Germain is right there. For many of us, it is a gift to be in that meditation in our journeys, but to have that come through and be there right then and there, even when those are watching it, is such a gift to all of us that I feel blessed. I feel grateful. She thinks it's addiction. I just find it brings great joy, happiness, and the ability to say, wow, look what's here to be shared into humanity.
But anyway,
and allows it. She's still downplaying and holding back.
I have to tell you, out of all the channels, I remember there are a couple of really favorites. One is because I can't remember what is said at all, but I just have experience everything imagery. One of my favorites is Master Lanto, because I remember Master Lanto coming into my body. It's this older being with the body posture particularly, but it was like he was on top of a mountain. He was so happy to finally speak. And I remember the frequency was hysterical inside of me. It was like, so
that
funny.
Old man can come through, and
it was
such an
funny.
It was such a graceful level, and gone through.
It was so funny.
And yes, we feel the energy so much, Valerie, that we do bring our tears, our connection, and it's that remembrance to the divine, because once we're out of this body and we connect with them, there are brothers and sisters that are already there welcoming. So when they're brought into this dimension, they have such grace and beauty. And it's you said it, Demetrius, it is a state of gratitude, humbleness that Honey can bring this through.
So
and I feel there's probably been a pause now so her body can get stronger and there can be more alignment within us, because we've gone through 3 years of like this and this of just getting ready through what we're doing right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if these opportunities come up more and what's being delivered, because it is beautiful wisdom that not only comes through, but is here to be shared. And it's here to be shared to utilize and how we can bring that divine alignment within ourselves. And I to me, it's a gift. When I listen to these, every time I'm like half dizzy, because I'm like, wow, listen to that frequency and listen to what's coming through in that moment to awaken us, to lift us, to let us rise in what we are, versus what sometimes us, light beings are so sensitive that we keep getting hit hard by all these other dense frequencies. So it is purely a gift, and we are very grateful for you. And
okay. Let's do that.
Has to remind her.
Okay,
so
Michael, it's
so
too much.
humble.
Okay,
that's what she always says. It's too much. I can't do this. It's too much. It's too much. And I'm like,
let's hear what the angels have to say.
Okay.
And then you asked about her. Oh, she's so beautiful. This is the other card of hers. I'm gonna take a picture. This is too. I can't even read because I don't have the reading glasses on.
Okay.
So today is July 31st, yeah?
Yay! End of Magdalene
Okay.
month.
All
How's your
right.
Magdalene heart?
It's wonderful, honey. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's radiating.
Yes.
Got to lie down for a little while, which is always nice, especially next to this one. It can be a challenge when in sleep.
I'm about to pass out.
Only if it could happen at night versus daytime. Okay, so taking a nice deep breath into your heart, and a nice deep breath out. And listening to today's divine message, honor your healing hands. Your loving energy flows through you into your entire body and can be directed at will. The chakras in your hands, heart, and third eye can pull in and send out this universal force according to what you decide. Today, we angels will focus on your hands, which contain dozens of very active and sensitive chakras that feel, send, and receive energy. If you stretch your arms out with your palms facing upward, we'll clean your hand chakras and infuse them with additional power. Inhale and exhale deeply while we conduct this treatment. Pay attention to the sensations in your hands. Put them out in front of you to get an impression of rooms, situations, people, and objects. And trust the messages that you receive. Place your hands on an area of your body to send healing energy into your physical being. Notice how this feels. And if you're guided to do so, conduct the same process on another person, a pet, or even a plant. The more aware you become of the energies that your hands give and receive, the more powerfully the healing will flow in both directions. The thought for today, repeating after me. I have healing hands.
I have healing hands.
As the universal energy flows into and out of them,
As universal energy flows into and out of them,
I am very aware of their sensations.
I am very aware of their sensations.
I love my hands.
I love my hands.
And so it
And
is.
so it is. Wow, there's like a rainbow coming out of my hands. Can you see it? You can. Wow.
It only takes a little before honey gets into it. It's beautiful.
Wow, I saw like piercing white light. Woo!
Wow, look at Mario. The Archangel Michael
Yeah.
channeled message was powerful. I immediately went into a meditative state, couldn't open my eyes. My hands were pulsating.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Mary. I'm glad you
Hi,
received that.
Mario.
I'm glad you received that.
Thanks.
If the channel is one thing, I'll tell you that Archangel Michael healing is another. So for those that are in this area, I'm very blessed to be of that. And whenever I get to your neighborhood, I'd be more blessed to offer that.
So let's see what the Oracle Ascension cards have for us. Oh yeah, chills with this one. The Pleiades. Yes, Pleiadians, 16. The Pleiadians are great healers. They love Earth and all who live on her. By drawing this card, you are being invited to open your heart to Pleiadian healing. Let them enfold you in their loving, healing blue light so that their wisdom and gifts flow into you. When you have observed these qualities in your energy fields, pass them on to others. Remember that the animals who came from Pleiades, sheep, pandas, and pigs, heal people on the land, bless them, and honor their work on the planet. Affirmation. I open my heart to love and healing from the Pleiades.
I open my heart and healing to the loving Pleiades.
Yes.
And
So,
so
it is. Yeah. Pleiadians, when I do the light code transmission activations, they always work on the heart. The language is so beautiful. I love the Pleiadians. It's so elegant. It's just so fluid and elegant, and usually when I communicate them, it just really lifts open the heart. And they always come with the Magdalene consciousness. Their language is so, it's very much like it's very beautiful. Loving.
So let me just read. Sandra, thank you. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Mike. I receive. Beautiful. Sandra, you are a very powerful being, as all of you beings are very powerful. And I want you to remind yourselves that these hands, if I place them out here, if you place them out here, if we place them out here, just with our direction, our intention, our visualization of what we want to send through these hands, in these thoughts, through these words, in our heart, can move mountains. And so it's very, very important to realize that you have that power. We're all conduits of light. We're all here to remind each other. But if there are pains in your body, place these hands, put them on the body, visualize the golden light, call upon the angels, and just direct your loving visualization into these areas by breathing and feeling. Watch what happens. Angela, thank you all for always great time here. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Definitely rest. That is the theme that needs to happen. And we love that 11, now 12 are watching. So good to see you, Valerie.
For those of you that might be interested in that Zoom tea time together, can you just send me an email at ascensionalchemists@gmail.com? So maybe we do that next Friday. Let's see where we'll be, depending on the place. And we make it a Zoom. We just bring some tea, prepare yourselves to, and let's see, maybe I go into a transmediumship. Let's see what happens. So, but it will be intimate group between us.
You guys would love it.
So much love. Thank you so much for being here. If this video supported you, helped you, as soon as we finish it, please take the video first, give it a thumbs up, because that actually helps us with our video. The other one, make a comment on the video. You're doing it on live chat right now. That's beautiful. That really, really helps us so much because of the YouTube algorithms. And it will help. And share.
Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Tabitha. I have an email sending to you very soon.
Hi, Tabitha.
Much love. And
love you, Dan. Love you, Demetrius.
Thank you, Dan, Demetrius, Mary.
Chuck, it was so nice to see you here.
Sorry I didn't catch you guys during the middle and the beginning. I was resting, but
thank you, Angela and Valerie. Love you all so much. Caitlin, thank you so much. Amaya, thank you so much. Thank you. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Have a beautiful, blessed day. And if you wanted to join Conchetta tonight with Love from Spirit for the prayer group at 9:00 for the children.
And Sandra, thank you.
Sandra,
I'll be sending you something
so
today.
Much love.
Thank you. Much love. Many blessings to you.
Okay. Bye, everyone.